And one of the really nice things that I've always thought about Randolph is it has this place called the Chandler Center for the Arts, which brings in a wide variety of musical and other performances. And there's a gallery there, and there's just a way to bring people into downtown Randolph. It's right on Main Street. It's a beautiful building. They have a wide variety of very good musical performances there, and they are a key to really, I think, the vibrancy of Randolph on an ongoing basis, right through all the other maybe lumps the town has had to deal with over the years. And I wanted to bring in the chief of the Chandler Center for the Arts. Tom Ayers has been there, I think, just a few months now.
It's been actually it's just shy of 18 months.
Oh, 18! Wow,
Yeah,
you're a veteran now.
I joined Chandler in April of 2017.
Okay,
right at the
great.
beginning of April.
Yeah, well, thanks very much for joining us this morning, Tom Ayers. And
Happy to be here.
And you were previously in Burlington, involved in the cultural life up there, right?
I was indeed. I was the executive director of the First Night Burlington Festival for a number of years, and I spent almost a decade at the Flynn Center for the Performing Arts as their marketing and communications director.
Wow. So you've left the big city and come back to the small town here. And,
absolutely, absolutely.
What's the difference in the feeling, if there is one? I mean, or is it pretty much, is your life pretty much still working to get good acts into your venues?
Oh yeah, that's a big part of it. But programming for a more rural audience is very different from programming for an urban audience, such as that in Burlington and Chittenden County. And there's just sort of a different feel to this, Dave. You know, I often cite a joke that I first heard, or a comment that I first heard when I moved to Burlington from the Boston area back in 1990. I got to town, and someone within the first week said, one of the nicest things about Burlington is that it's so close to Vermont.
Yeah,
and
I
I've
have
really
heard that before.
and I've really come to appreciate Burlington's an absolutely wonderful community, but central Vermont, and particularly the Randolph area, very different kind of vibe, very different feel to the community, and one of the challenges for a place like Chandler, which I appreciate your kind comments about it. It is a gem of an institution in a remarkably small community. I mean, we have a population here of roughly 4,500 or so, and yet we have this national historic site, 575-seat gem of a performing arts center.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I love that hall. Yeah.
Something that I would really love the DEV audience to know about that is a crystal clear example of really community engagement on the part of Chandler with the Orange County and Central Vermont community. We're presenting a program here in November, actually on Veterans Day weekend, Saturday, November 10th, called the Telling Project. And what this entails is we brought a playwright and oral historian into the Randolph area back in April. And he interviewed 9 Randolph area veterans, ranging from the Vietnam War through the current conflicts in Afghanistan and Iraq. Spent about 90 minutes with each person, talking to them about how the military experience impacted their lives, what its impact was on their families, what their reminiscences were of being in combat. Takes these interviews and weaves them into a 90-minute storytelling theater event. These veterans are actually going to come on to the Chandler stage on November 10th, and for 90 minutes they will tell their stories in a really powerful storytelling event, the purpose of which is to really engage civilians with military veterans to create bridges of understanding between two pretty disparate communities that sometimes mistrust one another and question one another. And that's a really emblematic of the kind of thing we're trying to do at Chandler, to build bridges between people, to build bridges to the community. So I'm really excited about that particular project.
Well, that sounds like very important work, and so I'm sure I can hear your pride on that, and that's understandable and laudable. The Chandler Center for the Arts is it is pretty much entirely a a private nonprofit?
It is a nonprofit organization that is run by a nonprofit board of directors, but it is the Chandler is a publicly owned building. It's owned by the town of Randolph.
I see.
And,
All right. Well, you know what? I hate to say this, but we are about out of time. I'm hearing a little music in my ear telling me that, and I want to thank you, Tom Ayers, for stopping by and talking with us on the Dave Graham Show here in WDEV.
Absolutely delighted to do.